YouTube. I think we're also going to be live on YouTube now. All right, let me see who we have on YouTube. Right before we jump into the news, guys, let us know if you have audio sounds. Okay, great. Khalid is telling us on Facebook that audio is good. Thank you, Khalid. On YouTube, I see we have Beach, we have Another Godless Atheist, we have Mars, Will Philly something. All right, great. So audio is good, everyone. Scott on Facebook is saying audio can hear. Great. All right, let's go. Let's jump right into the news then. Oh, by the way, hi, Chris.
Hello.
Hi. You guys can hear Chris as well, right? Good. Okay, so the first news. By the way, thank you, Chris, because I know we missed Ali and Chopin on the same day. They're missing, so Chris is filling in. Thank you so much. But yeah, let's just jump right into it. So the first news. U.S. rapper T.I. Is that how you say T.I.? I don't know this guy. Is he famous?
He is relatively famous, yeah.
Okay, and that's how you say T.I.?
Yep, this is it.
Okay, T.I. All right. Let me just read the news. U.S. rapper T.I. under fire after saying he takes his teenage daughter to gynecologist. Is that how you say it? I don't know. Gynecologist every year to check her hymen is still intact. Basically, a virginity test. By the way, this virginity test doesn't even work because you could lose your hymen in many different ways, right? That's correct? Like, please somebody let me know that that's not a very accurate way. Let me actually read the summary because this is very weird and disgusting. U.S. rapper T.I. has provoked outrage. No shit. Oh fuck! I swear already. This YouTube video is gonna get demonetized, deprioritized because I can't stop swearing. But U.S. rapper T.I. has provoked outrage by saying he forces his 18-year-old daughter to undergo an annual virginity test. Annual! So every year. Usually, like the day after the birthday party, she's enjoying... Oh, so this is the rapper's quote. So he's saying, quote starts here. Usually, like the day after the birthday party, she's enjoying her gifts, and I put a sticky note on the door that says gyno. Gyno? That's short for gynecologist. Okay. Tomorrow 9:30. End quote. T.I., whose real name is Clifford Harris, told the presenters. The podcast episode was released on Tuesday, but appeared to have been removed on Wednesday afternoon after it went viral on social media. Social media users were quick to condemn Harris's behavior and express concern for his daughter. Okay, I have a few questions. I want to go beyond the obvious, like, oh, disgusting, bad, like, controlling women. Like, no shit, right? Right? So, obviously, all of that, all of the discuss, all of that. The two things that I don't understand is, one, how did he not realize that this is going to be met with such a big reaction? Like, it's one thing for you to be so insecure and so controlling over your daughter's personal life to take her to a doctor. Actually, I have three questions. To take it to a doctor every year on her birthday. Like, and if you want to be such an asshole, at least don't ruin her birthday, right? On her birthday. So even if you want to be such a dick, I'm just going out with the swearing now because this YouTube video is lost when it comes to all the algorithms with the swearing and everything. Please share our videos because YouTube hates us. Why did even if he wants to be such a dick, why did he feel like I could just say this on a podcast? Like, is he so out of touch with reality and what's acceptable behavior that he thinks that, oh yeah, I could just say in this podcast, and people are like gonna be like, Like, if he even the podcast, because if they felt like, okay, we don't give a shit about the people's outrage, then they wouldn't have pulled off the episode. Like, they removed the episode. But the fact that they put it on and they're surprised by the outrage and they pull it off, that means they didn't realize that this is so wrong. Like they couldn't understand this is wrong. This is my first question. The second question is like, what the fuck? Why isn't the doctor saying like, hey, I'm gonna do this for you? Like the doctor is not telling the rapper that this is wrong. Like, who are you to tell your 18-year-old daughter that she's supposed to be a virgin, right? What was my third question? I forgot my third question. I think the third question was about the podcast presenters. Anyways, what do you think? How did this guy not realize that this? I mean, you're saying he's relatively famous, so he should have known that this is gonna go viral.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just one of those things where how sometimes famous people are just completely out of touch with reality. They don't see the world the same way we do, so they don't think their actions through.
Yeah, but here's another thing. Does this guy have a son? I wonder if he would give a shit if his son was a virgin. You know, I agree, like when a lot of people say, feminism in some situations has gone too far, and you can find examples of ridiculous feminism examples. But then I think some people take that message a little bit too far by saying that women there is no bias against women in first world country, that you only need women rights activism in third world countries, right? But I disagree with that. Like, I think there are many cases that you can find in first world countries. I'm not saying obviously women have it much worse in third world countries, and women and people that are not denying that and making it seem like women in first world country have it as bad as third world countries. That's ridiculous. But I do agree that feminism in many scenarios has gone way far to the other side, to ridiculous situations. But to claim that there is no bias against women at all in first world countries, I think it's ridiculous. And this is one of those examples. I'm almost certain, again, I don't want to be 100% certain about anything, that this guy would not give a shit about his son being a virgin or not, right? And this is one of those examples where in first world countries, there absolutely does exist a bias against women. That women are still seen as properties, as these things that need to be kept pure, that need to be completely separate for anything sexual, unless it's in a system that men have designed and have stamped their approval on and accept. And it's this whole purity culture is treating women like property, right? They just basically say, I get to treat my sexuality the way I want, but you get to use or exercise your sexuality in these conditions that I have decided for you. Okay, this is obviously a bias that exists against women in first world country. So be careful when you see ridiculous feminazis and stuff against women, feminist messages that has gone too far. That doesn't mean that there is no point in still bringing up women rights and pointing out bias against women in first world countries, while also pointing out a lot of progress that we made, right? Like, yeah, just because there's still bias that exists doesn't mean that we haven't made a lot of progress. You also have to celebrate the progress. Women in Western countries, in first world countries, have it a lot better than women elsewhere, and that progress has to be celebrated. Okay, just because something exists, it doesn't mean it's equal. Okay, people are like, oh, it's the same. No, it's not the same. It's bad. It's not the same. How hard is that to understand? Anyways, Chris, what else? Before I go to the top comments, what do you think? Let me see.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree that women in first world countries they're still being discriminated against, but it's certainly not anywhere near as bad as women in third world countries. I mean, you have the examples of the fetal heartbeat bill, which thankfully was stricken down everywhere it's been so far. That's just one example of trying to control women.
Okay, let me see the top comments. Top comment is from Mish Alina, is saying Child Protective Services need to make a visit ASAP. She's not even a child though. That's yeah. I mean, if she was a child, then we need Child Protective Services. But to me, it's interesting that she's an adult and her father still wants to make sure she's a virgin. Get out of there. Oh, that was my third question. I just remembered my third question. How does she not know that this is not okay? Does she know, and is she like in such a tight grip that she can't, like, she's been brainwashed to think that this is okay? Because I'm hoping that she sees this backlash and realizes that, yeah, this father is not a good dad. Like, you get the hell out of there. Like, I'm hoping that the dad is more embarrassed by his own daughter than the public at large, right? Because it's one thing to be embarrassed in front of all these people. It's another thing for your daughter to have thought that this is, my dad wants to make sure I'm a virgin, like dads do. Maybe if that's what she was thinking, I'm hoping that she notices this outrage and realizes, like, oh, my dad's a dick. This is not okay. I need to stand up to him. I need to get the fuck out of here. I'm an adult and I shouldn't be controlled like this. That was my third question. So I'm hoping that this public outrage makes her realize that if she didn't, and if she did realize that, but she didn't have the ability to react, I'm hoping now somebody's reaching out to her and giving her some support. Alexa is saying he does know her hymen could be broken from extensive physical exercises, right? Yeah, but I don't know how common that is. But that's what I hear. That's just sex is not the only way that you could lose that. Corey is saying, is Islam a religion of peace? Why or why not? Corey, thank you so much for the super chat, but that's not the topic of this news item. But the short answer is obviously not, and you will see in our later news today why not. Okay, let me see. Let's go to. Why is this not loading? Let us load. I'm gonna look at the Facebook live chat while this is loading. By Camulus is saying bias exists everywhere. I just hope that this binary way of looking, like, I don't hope like, oh, well, bias exists everywhere. No, I mean, there's bias exists everywhere, but there's high level of bias and low level of bias. Because sometimes when you try to fight against bias, against sexism, against racism, people might say like, oh, well, there's racism everywhere. There's sexism everywhere. There's bias everywhere. Yeah, but activism has proven to reduce these things. Don't just be like, well, this thing is everywhere, so who gives a shit? What can we do? Like, I'm hoping that's not what you're suggesting, okay? Because, yeah, they exist everywhere, but they exist in some places much more than other places. And in places where they are less, it's usually because of activism or economic development that you see them less, okay? So it's not an all or none game, and just because something exists everywhere, that doesn't mean that it's not worth fighting against. All right, next news finally loaded. The reason why I loaded, okay, I have too many tabs open, that's why. Anyways, next news. Next news is from Italy. Catholic Church investigating 2 nuns who returned pregnant from missionary trip to Africa. Oh no! Apparently women are deciding to have sex without permission again. That's an emergency. That cannot be tolerated! Alright, let's see what this summary is. Number 2. 2 nuns are being investigated by the Catholic Church. Investigate! I like it! Maybe investigate your own child molestation. I wish. I mean, this is such an obvious, oh wow, such a brave take, Armin. I know, but it's too easy. I have to take it. Like, do they use some of these resources to investigate your child molestation problem that you have in your own, like, oh god, this is too easy. Anyways, let me continue. The African women who are from different orders in Sicily reportedly got pregnant while on separate missions to their home country. Oh, where is their home country? One of the nuns, a 30-year-old based at a convent in northeastern town of, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this, somewhere in Messina, discovered she was pregnant after going to a hospital with severe abdominal pains. The Gazeta newspaper reports. The second nun, a mother superior caring for the elderly in southeastern city of somewhere else, again I'm not going to try to pronounce this, has also discovered she is pregnant. Oh guys, link is in the description, summary is in the description. If you want to find out where these places are, I can't pronounce it, go check it out. By the way, a lot of people are like, oh, why are you saying these news without a source? Did you even check the description before complaining? The source is always in the description. Anyway, he would launch an internal investigation to find out. Okay, so wait. Sicily's health counselor said that he would launch an internal investigation to find out how the pregnancies became public knowledge. Oh, so the problem is how they became public knowledge. Actually, that's fair. That's fair. I'm going to give it to the Catholic Church, okay? I'm going to be fair here, okay, Chris? See, this is a fair atheist show, okay? This is a very fair atheist show. We're not just going to demonize the Catholic Church because we're atheists, okay? If what they were investigating is how this knowledge became public, I give it to them. I think their motives might be because they don't want the Catholic Church to be embarrassed, but let's be charitable and say that this is about the privacy of the woman involved, okay? Because if they were investigating how these women became pregnant, well, you need to mind your own fucking business, okay? If they want to have sex, they can have sex. Go fuck yourself, Catholic Church, right? If you are investigating this, like, oh, who outed us, who's embarrassing the Catholic Church, well, fuck you as well, okay? But if you're investigating because these women, this is their private lives, who is, making this public knowledge about these, about these women's private life, maybe they didn't want other people to know, then fair enough, Catholic Church, I will give you that. I'll be charitable. I know you won't be charitable to us. Most religious people are not. But we'll be charitable and say that maybe the only thing you're investigating is, I don't know, Chris, did you look into the news? Is there any reason for us to not be charitable and say that this is not their intentions? Because, I want to be fair here, right?
Yeah, I actually did look at it. I did read that article. And it didn't explicitly state why they're launching the investigation.
Right.
All it said was that they're investigating that it's become public knowledge.
Okay. So let's be fair. It might be. I know this is people will find this unlikely, but we should always give the most charitable motivations to people. It could be the Catholic Church who's like, wait, this is these women's private lives. Who is making these women's private life information public knowledge? If that's their motivation, then kudos to you, Catholic Church, but not kudos to you for many other things, but just for this specific thing, okay? I don't know what your motivations are, but I'll try to be fair. Robert is saying missionary trip, isn't that a little presumptuous? It could have been a reverse cowgirl trip for all we know. Okay, Dad. Lee Ju is saying, oh, Immaculate Conceptions, Christians 1, Atheists 0. Oh, yeah, did they try the whole God impregnated us trick, or is that too old now? Kevin is saying, praise God, 2 cases of Immaculate Conception start. Is that how you say it? Immaculate? Is that how you say it? Immaculate, right? Immaculate Conception. Basically, for people that I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but that's basically the idea of Mother Mary becoming pregnant without having sex. Oh, it's a missionary work, all right. Okay, a lot of dad jokes. It's sad for these nuns, though, right? Like if you go on a trip and you get pregnant and you have sex, if you're not a nun, you already have to deal. Again, this is another unfair bias against women. Men go on trips, spring breaks and stuff, and sometimes their entire purpose of that trip is to go it's called sex tourism, and they come and nobody has to figure out what they did, right? Women have to deal with a lot more shame and guilt, and social embarrassment and all of that, all of this being a taboo, and that's just for the average woman. Imagine if you're a nun. Imagine the level of condemnation, a lot of demonization, a lot of the amount of guilt that you have to deal with coming back to the Catholic Church after becoming pregnant during your missionary, right? Like, imagine what the amount of shit that these women are having to deal with. I really feel sorry for them. So that's so sad. And again, if you think they're nuns or whatever, well, fuck you. Let me see what the... Okay, I already read the top comment. Let me see. Let's go to... Oh, wait. Casey is saying Shubham is in the chat. Well, Shubham, he's in the live chat? Why is he not on air? Anyways, let's go. So, Shubham, if you're in the live chat, I'm going to ask you questions about this next news, and you could answer them, okay? So, let's see. Next news is number 3. Okay. The Indian Army wants to reportedly ensure that homosexuality and adultery remain punishable offences and has... Wait, let me actually read the title. Let's try this again. Number 3. Indian Army wants adultery and homosexuality to remain punishable offences. Okay, so here's a summary. The Indian Army wants to reportedly ensure that homosexuality and adultery remain punishable offences and has written to the Ministry of Defense about the same, according to reports. This comes after the Supreme Court this decriminalized adultery and read down IPC section 377. Oh yeah, I see all the LGBT rights activists in India. They always have this section 377. So I've seen that thing under signs that they hold. Okay, so section 377 that criminalize unnatural offenses in September 2018. So if you didn't get that, in September 2018, the Supreme Court decriminalized that, right? So got rid of that law. There was a lot of LGBT people in the streets, happy, yay, finally it's not illegal to be gay in India, okay, which is great. The law is so stupid. The law was called criminalize, quote unquote, unnatural offenses. That's so okay. But the Indian Army apparently doesn't like this. The Indian Army wants both the offenses to be punishable under Section 45 of the Army Act that deals with unbecoming conduct. That's weird. Outgoing Indian Army adjutant, General Lieutenant General. This guy has 2 generals in his title? Or is this a typo? Ashwani Kumar said that they will not do anything that will violate the law of the land. He went on to add that when one joins the Indian Army, he or she does not get some of the rights and privileges like other citizens are given under the Constitution. Okay, this is weird. So basically, when we say the Indian Army wants this to still be a crime or be an offense, are they just saying this only for the members of the Indian Army or for the public at large? Chris, do you know? Let me see.
From what I read in the article, it was just for the Indian Army.
Just for the Indian Army. So this is weird. Yeah. Is the Indian Army saying, so somebody with more knowledge about Indian law in the live chat, please tell us. Is the Indian Army suggesting that the Constitution does not apply to the Indian Army? Is that what the suggestion is? The law of the land. He said, we want to respect the law of the land. Well, your Supreme fucking Court said that this is not criminal. So how could you have a different law for the army than everyone else? GV is saying their argument is most of the recruits are from conservative rural India and may not be comfortable around gay people. That brings down group cohesion. Well, go fuck yourself. Wow. Okay. If you have a really weak ass army, if it breaks down because it has some gay people in it, right? That's one thing. You have also a weak ass army if you do not defend the constitution of your own land, and if you don't uphold the law as supported by as said by the Supreme Court, right? You have to. You're the army. The Supreme Court says this is a law, and you have to uphold the law. That's your fucking job, right? Lead by example. Like, isn't somebody tell me Shopam is in the live chat. Shopam, only for the Indian Army. Okay, but am I reading too much into this, that I say that the Indian Army cannot do this because this is the Supreme Court and saying this should be decriminalized? Okay, I'm going to remove the camera from Chris. This should be decriminalized and they're not upholding the law. I don't know. Like, can they do that? Is the army its own separate part of the country? Like, this shows to me disunity between the Indian Army and the Supreme Court. Let me see. Chopin is saying yes, they want to suggest that. They are saying that the law compromises the functions of the army because they will start having sex too much. Wow. All right, but I mean, can they even do that? Can the army and the Indian Army go against the Supreme Court? Is that even allowed? I don't know. Somebody tell us let me read the top comment. Adreno is saying it's only natural. The military needs discipline. Personal. Oh, wait. So Adrian is supporting the Indian Army. Let me see. Adriana is saying it's only natural. The military needs discipline. Personal feelings have no room. If you want to behave as you like, just don't join the army. Oh God. All right, Adriana. That logic does not. You could use that line of reasoning for many, 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 many disgusting, vile, inhumane behavior, right? You could be extremely brutal and cruel to people by saying, well, the army this and the army that, the army needs discipline. The army needs discipline. Really? The army needs discipline? So be discriminate against gay people? Hold on. Chris, I'm gonna hang up on you because you're talking on the news. All right. So, I mean, the army needs discipline. So you have decided. The army needs discipline. So you have decided that you do not represent the gay people in your country. Like, isn't the army supposed to be a reflection of the people in India? Chopin is saying military personnel do have a different set of laws and a different court, but I am not sure if they can actually get an opposite law for themselves. Okay, not Chopin. Chopin, if I'm reading your name wrong, it's because you have S in your name, okay? You don't have SH, so forgive me for that. So they do, apparently in the Indian Army does have a separate law. It's their own separate law from the Supreme Court? That's weird. All right. So thank you for educating us on that. Let me try to see if I could. No, never mind. It's too late to bring Shubham on. All right, guys. I'm doing this news by myself now, so bear with me. Let me close this next one. All right. Next news is number 4. 4. Group dressed as Hasidic Jews peddles anti-Semitic flyers in Boulder. Boulder is a city, I think, in the United States. So these are some anti-Semitic people that are dressed up as Jews. Interesting. And they're going out around and giving out anti-Semitic flyers, pamphlets. What do they say? Let's see what the summary says. Okay. Number 4, a demonstration over the weekend is not sitting well with many in and out of the Jewish community in Boulder. Again, it's a city in the United States. On Saturday, a group of men dressed in traditional Jewish garb passed on flyers denying the Holocaust and blaming Jews. Wow. Okay, this video Facebook, YouTube gods, the gods of Facebook and the gods of YouTube. I'm not denying the Holocaust. I'm not saying anything against the Jews. I'm just reading the news. Please don't strike us down, okay? God, this video is not. Nobody is gonna see this video because YouTube is gonna go at it and completely remove us from all the suggestions and all the news feed views. So please, please, please share our videos, because apparently just reading out the news is not allowed according to Facebook and YouTube, okay? Mainstream media can do that, but we cannot do that. So we really need your community to share our videos. So please share our videos. So I'm just going to read this. I just hope that we don't get a strike before reading this news, okay? On Saturday, a group of men dressed in traditional Jewish garb passed out flyers denying the Holocaust and blaming Jews for the slave trade and pornography. Quote starts here. So this is what they say, quote, "We want to wake up all races to the Jews. Holo-hoax," holo-hoax is their pun, as in Holocaust is a hoax, end quotes, says an unnamed man in a video obtained by Denver 7 on the demonstration. The group is then seen showing off their van covered in anti-Semitic slogans. Sources tell Denver 7 the group live streamed their appearance on the mall, then left without incident. Okay, that's very interesting. Okay, so here's the thing. First of all, anti-Semitic views and rallies and acts and hate crimes is on the rise. It's on the rise. If you look at the short-term horizon, it's on the decline if you look at the long-term horizon, right? So if you look at the past 200 years, it's pretty low. If you look at the past 10 years, maybe 5 years, it's on the rise, I think. But you shouldn't judge whether it's on the rise or on the decline based on news items that you see, okay? Look at statistics, look at data, okay? Don't just judge it by the news that you're seeing like this, okay? And again, this is in the USA, and you see more reports of anti-Jewish sentiments in the United States because this is, people in first world countries are more sensitive about this, and rightfully so. However, be careful not to think that this is a bigger problem in the United States than other places. It's actually, in the United States, it's one of the least anti-Semitic places in the world, even though it's rising. Even though the fact it's rising in the United States, it's still one of the best places in the world to be a Jew, okay? United States is still, even after the recent increase in anti-Semitic views and behavior, United States is still one of the best places on the planet to be a Jew, okay? That shows how bad it is for Jews everywhere, many other places, okay? Another thing I want to point out is that this is a great thing that these people can come and just say stuff like this, and you know, I think this is this shows how free United States is. Okay, this is the most vile thing, one of the most vile things that you could somebody be, like racist, an entire group of people, and yet these people could come have a rally in the United States, hand out pamphlets, and you know they're not going to get arrested. Please, 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 do not let your disgust for these people for you to go and support banning these kind of behavior, or you know, limiting free speech and stuff. You are sending a signal to the entire world that look how pro free speech United States is, because people like this can speak. Okay, if only people that didn't have disgusting views could speak, then you don't have free speech. There's nothing very unique about your free speech laws. If people could speak, if only people with views that are not abhorrent like this could speak, okay? These people are challenging your free speech laws. So do not let them win by changing that, okay? Use them, you know. In fact, it's good that you have free speech laws, so people that don't think that this is a problem, they can see like, holy shit, there's actually these people exist. It's not an exaggeration. They are real. This is a problem. Your free speech laws makes it obvious to other people because they get to come out of the shadows into the light in a place where we could see them, where we could address it as a problem. If you think limiting these people's speech is going to fix the problem, please take a look at Germany, where far right is on the rise. They had anti-laws against Holocaust denial. Didn't help them. It didn't help them. It's not going to help them. In fact, use this as an opportunity to say, look, these kind of speech is the most taboo speech in the United States. I can't think of anything else that is seen more as taboo than Holocaust denial and being against the Jews like this, right? So, and yet they can have a rally and nobody can arrest them. That's how committed the United States is to free speech, and be a role model for the rest of the world. Don't let them, people in the United States, please don't let them take this away from you, okay? Don't let them take this away from you. I know you think it's impossible because it's in your constitution, but people could try reading it in a different way. People could try interpret that in different ways. And I've seen already mainstream, I think it was New York Times and other articles that are trying to start suggesting that maybe the free speech, First Amendment and all that, maybe it wasn't such a good idea given all this alt-right. Okay? These, free speech is only free speech when it's challenged like this and you survive it. Okay? That's how you know you have free speech. When discussing people come and challenge it and you come out the other end and you still have free speech laws. Let me see what the top comment is. Sarah is saying, are these the same people that believe the moon landing never happened and the earth is flat and that vaccines cause autism? Sarah, they seem unrelated, but I don't know. Okay, I don't know if it's true, but based on my limited experience, which is completely anecdotal, so take it with a grain of salt, they do seem to be many times the same people. They do many times seem to be the same people. I have no idea why, and I don't know. I don't know if this is true because I haven't seen data on this. This is just based on anecdotal and personal experience, and personal experience should not be relied on. But maybe it's a good way to. It's a good launching pad to go look at data and investigate, because it does. It based on my experience, there are many times that I've noticed that they are the same people. Okay. All right, let's go. Let me see next news. Okay, number 5. Where is this? This is a city that I cannot pronounce. Adelaide. I don't know. Some cities rainbow walk defaced with Jesus love you graffiti. Okay, Jesus loves you graffiti on a rainbow walk. Oh, apparently this is a famous rainbow walk in a city in Australia, and it was defaced with Jesus loves you. Okay, let me read the summary. A rainbow crosswalk in Adelaide, I don't know where, Australia, meant to highlight important dates in LGBTQ history, was defaced recently by someone who wrote Jesus love you over each date. Wow. That's a very dick move, by the way. That's one of the most, Christians, many Christians, hashtag not all, many Christians are experts as being passive aggressive, right? Like I've seen when Hindus and Muslims attack you, they're just straight aggressive, right? Christians are the experts at using the language of love and kindness as saying fuck you in the most loving and peaceful way, right? So all right, so they put Jesus love you on. So at first I thought it just says Jesus love you somewhere on the rainbow walk. I was like, oh, that's not that bad. It could be even not anti-LGBT. It could be like, oh, Christians also support gay people. We love gay people. I mean, it's a dick move to put it on a beautiful sidewalk like this, but maybe that was the intention. But the fact that it was each one of these important dates was covered by Jesus love you, this is a fuck you, a Christian fuck you, coming in the covering, sugarcoating of love and tolerance and, oh, Jesus loves you. Jesus loves you basically is Christian for fuck you. Okay, let me continue. The unnamed 20-year-old vandal's actions were caught on video by a man and his partner as they drove past the landmark. Okay, great. So do you know who he is? Catch the guy. The vandal has been arrested. Okay, good. And the city council said that the graffiti would be removed immediately. That's good. Yeah, that's great. But so this is homophobia. No, homophobia. This is homophobia in in a Christian covering. If you don't tolerate homophobia, and this is vandalism as well, right? So good. I don't know what else to say. Let me see what the top comment is saying. Lisa saying, paint a rainbow on the church. No, don't respond to vandalism with vandalism. Just arrest the guy like you did. And also, don't punish people that did not do it. Okay, this is... I'm assuming that Lisa is joking, okay? But for the few people that think this would be a good idea to retaliate by vandalizing a church and putting rainbow flag on it without permission on it, just realize that you are punishing somebody that did not do... You're destroying the property of somebody that did not vandalize the rainbow sidewalk. Because they're just associated with somebody who did, right? So this is guilt by association. This is collective punishment, and it's bullshit. It's bullshit when religious people do it. It will be bullshit if atheists did it as well. Shubham is saying, for some people, Jesus love you seems not like a hate graffiti, but an accepting one. This is definitely passive aggressive. I would have been more willing to accept that this might have been like accepting, even though it was vandalism. Maybe this could have been a message that, Christians love gay people too, even though it was done in a shitty way. But the fact that the guy covered all the important dates with the paint, that's what it says, right? To me, it suggests no, this was pure passive aggressive. Video by let me see. Meant to highlight important was I don't know if actually that's what happened. Chris, are you in the live chat? Please let us know if this is what happened. Did he cover the dates? I don't know. Maybe he will. We don't. Let's be charitable. Let's say, even if he was not being passive aggressive, even if this was not an anti-LGBTQ message, which very, very likely was, you should still be arrested for vandalism. Okay, I cannot go just on a church and say, hey, I'm an atheist and I love you, Christian, and paint all over the wall. I love Christians. If an atheist goes on a church and says paints the wall and says, writes I love Christians, you should get arrested. You had no permission to paint on the fucking wall, okay? Even if you're supportive, okay? Let alone if you say fuck Christians, that's obviously not that good, okay? But even if you say, hey, I love Christians, you cannot just paint over other people's property without their permission, okay? So you get arrested. Now you're gonna have a criminal record. Shilpan, when you're saying yes, when you're saying yeah, I have no idea what you're saying yeah in response to. He covered. Oh yes, Shilpan is saying he covered the important dates of the LGBT history with his graffiti. Yeah, okay, the guy was a dick then, very likely. God, it's so. I prefer the Muslim way, not the beheading thing, but the part where they just come and say like, you're wrong. You're gonna burn in hell. Fuck you. You're an Islamophobe. At least that's less hurtful. That's less annoying to me than when someone like, oh, Jesus loves you. You will be saved. I like just, oh God, And people are being nice. You need to be nice back to them. Okay, just a warning. Okay, I'm not saying that if somebody says Jesus loves you, because to me that means go fuck yourself. Or I'm praying for you. To me also that means go fuck yourself. That does not mean that you should swear at them, okay? I'm not trying to say that, be rude to them because they're being rude to you, because that's what they mean. Even if they are being rude to you, don't be rude back, okay? Don't be rude back. Even if they say, fuck you, you heretic scum, or something like that. Burn in hell, infidel, or something like that. Even if they go out, even if they're not passive aggressive, even if they're just direct aggressive, don't be a dick back to them, okay? That's my suggestion, okay? Be a dick to the ideology. Just like, fuck Christianity, fuck Islam, fuck Hinduism, fuck Buddhism, fuck even Judaism. There goes our channel. Fuck all of those religions. But don't be, be aggressive against the ideology. Don't be aggressive against individuals. Don't be aggressive against people, okay? If you're talking to them, be nice to them. In fact, be extra nice to them, because that usually makes some of them think twice before demonizing atheists. Chris is in the live chat. That's going to be taken out of context. Yeah. Yes. It has. Yeah. All right. Let's go to the next news. Okay, next news. Philly-based Bible printer will close and lay off 174 due to decreased demand. Okay. This is the summary. A Philadelphia-based printing company says it will lay off 174 workers and shut down the facility, all because after printing more than 1 billion Bibles over the past century, their product just isn't in demand anymore. They say the Bible business has really gone soft, and their warehouses are full, said Ryan Cox, business representative for Graphic Communication Conference. I hate long names. Look, this is the name of their. I'm not even going to read it. This is the name of their union. It's just like just make your union name, a whole paragraph to your union. Based in Clifton Heights, which represents 150 of the workers, along with the printers at other companies in central Pennsylvania. Okay, so before you say, woohoo, yay, be careful not to celebrate 174 people losing their jobs, okay? Be careful not doing that. That's a shitty thing to do, okay? I mean, it's great that the Bible is less in demand. But that could also because books in general are less in demand. You know how many people are reading Kindles and listening to audiobooks instead, right? The fact is that Bible is less in demand. But you can't say from this story, because if you think that this story proves that Bibles are less in demand, that's you're not looking at the bigger picture. Print books in general are less in demand because people are getting their content from other sources. Okay, they're getting it digitally, and there's how many Bible apps are out there. They're so much better than a print Bible. They show you the exact root, the Greek roots, and the different all the different translations, all the different interpretations, scholarly, Christian commentary or secular commentary, linked to other sources. Like, why would I even need to? I mean, I have a print Bible. Where is my print Bible? Here. I have multiple print Bibles, but that's for other reasons. The thing is that, but most people don't need the print Bible. Even if they want the Bible, they don't need a print version of the Bible. Maybe they used to have 4 Bibles, now they just want one. And the rest could be just based on websites and stuff. I'm not saying the Bible is not less in demand. It is less in demand, but you shouldn't judge it by this story, because this story is saying like, oh, print Bibles are less in demand. Well, print everything is less in demand. Okay, that's one thing. Another thing is that 170 people losing their jobs is this might sound a little bit dickish of me to say, but bear with me, okay? It's good news and bad news at the same time, okay? Mostly bad news, I think. Well, you be digital. Bad news because, these people need to provide for their families. That's pretty sad that 174 people lose their jobs. If you don't feel a little bit, at least some sadness from that, then, come on, guys. Come on, okay? It doesn't matter that they're Christian. It doesn't matter that they were printing Bible. that's sad. Okay. The reason why now I'm gonna sound like an asshole myself. The reason why might be also a little bit of a good thing is because these 174 people were doing something useless. They were doing something absolutely useless, and now they're going to be hunting for jobs, and the new jobs that they get hopefully will be something that is going to be contributing to the society. Okay, so maybe net positive to society. I don't know. Maybe I hope they manage to get a job fast. So here I'll adjust it. Bad news if they can't find a job. Fantastic news if they can find a job. Net positive for society if these 174 people could find other jobs, okay? Because if they could find other jobs, now they're actually doing something useful. Chris is saying the printers are being shipped to a similar facility in Indiana. Oh, great. So the printers are all, not just the workers, the printers were doing also something useless, and now they're going to be sent to somewhere to do something more useful. Wait, my camera. I'm not even in the frame. Let me put my camera a little bit to the side. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Maybe a little bit this way or this way. All right, no, this way. There we go. Let me see what else Chris said. Shopam said, "Is this because people are turning away from religion, or is it because of easily accessible digital copies?" Exactly, Shopam. Good question. Could be a mix of both. Chris is saying, "Is a printing company, how hard is it to just print different books? Congrats, problem solved." Well, Chris, different books are also not in demand, so it's not that easy. Let me see. Huma is saying, "I'm torn because my family on father's side were all printers." Okay, so this is a dark joke. Okay. No, never mind. I'm not going to read this. I don't know if this is a joke or not. German is saying, "Definitely feel bad for the people losing their jobs. You think they could print something else? Bibles aren't the only books out there." Well, again, I say exactly what I said to Chris. It's not just the Bibles that are out of demand. Print books in general are out of demand in favor of more digital products, okay? And don't just... never mind. That's just how things work, guys. Like, don't be like, "Oh, it's so sad that people are consuming their content digitally." This is the same thing, this is a boomer joke, isn't it? Mimi is saying, "I recently threw out my family Bible. I was only keeping it around for the family history written inside. Back to my great-grandparents' wedding. The Bible was a wedding gift from my great-grandfather's Aunt Florence. I struggled with trashing it, but I felt really yucky every time I saw it." Okay, good that you got rid of it because you felt yucky, but I hope that you didn't get rid of it because you felt like you're an atheist and you have to get rid of your Bible. I have a lot of Bibles, okay? How many Bibles do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 Bibles, and I'm an anti-Christianity, anti-religion atheist, anti-theist atheist, right? So, don't come up with rules. Like, don't feel like, "Oh, I like this Bible, but I don't want to I have to get rid of it because I'm an atheist." If you like the Bible, just keep the fucking Bible, okay? If you like your Bible, just keep the fucking Bible. But if you feel yucky around it and it has bad memories and you're disgusted by it, well, then get rid of it, right? There's no right way. Just, do what you want. Chuck is saying, "Every Christian likes telling people that the Bible tops out every bestseller list constantly, but considering they've constantly cranked them out for centuries, I'm mildly surprised it took this long. Shouldn't they have reached saturation level long ago?" Well, okay, but even when it was a bestseller doesn't mean people are reading it. Bestseller just means it's being printed out and put on shelves and put in churches and being handed out to people in the street. And, what percentage of the people that buy Harry Potter books, most of them read Harry Potter books, okay? How often people who buy Bibles actually read Bibles? Or the Quran? We know I grew up in an Islamic country, every household that I know of, except my uncles, had a Quran in it. Okay, you know what we did with the Quran? We put it out in New Year's for for decoration. We keep it on our shelves. We kissed it for good luck before the first day of school. We waved it around our head for good luck before going on a trip. We did many things with the Quran, okay? You know what we didn't do with the Quran? We never read the fucking Quran. We never read the Quran, okay? That's what we didn't do with the Quran. Every house that I know of had a Quran in it. And I knew no one, except my aunt, in our household, in our family, or in our social group that read the Quran. Oh, actually, my grandma too. Even my aunt and my grandma who read the Quran had no clue what they were reading. They were just reading Arabic text and were not really bothered by reading the translation. And they did not speak Arabic. So even the few minority of people that read the Quran had no fucking idea what they were reading. Okay? It's true with Christians, and it's true with most Muslims as well. It's true with most Christians. Again, hashtag not all. Just assume hashtag not all for everything I say. Okay? Just please assume. Can somebody just put not all every time I say something about Christians, Muslims, Jews, Hindus? Somebody just put a hashtag not all in the live chat so I could just be reminded of reading that out loud. All right, let's go. Oh, no. Another Holocaust story. Great. And Anna picks the news for us. And I think Anna wants YouTube to completely just destroy our YouTube channel. This is why our YouTube channel is not growing, guys. This is why our YouTube channel is not growing. Because I can't stop swearing. And we have stories like this to cover. Okay? So please share our YouTube videos. Please share them. Because YouTube tells us, when we say, hey, YouTube, can we please cover stories like this? YouTube is like, no, go fuck yourself. You're the same as alt-right because you use the same keywords. Like, oh, shit, okay. Anyways, let's see what the headline is. What's this? Another Holocaust story. That's great. That is great. Number 7. Italy Holocaust survivor Liliana, that's a nice name, if I'm reading it right. Liliana surged under guard amid death threats. Okay, this is in Italy. Wow. Jeez, how old is she? Poor woman. She had to deal with the Holocaust, and now she thought, like, imagine being a Holocaust survivor and looking at the world becoming much better and more tolerant, and then being 89 years old and almost dying and saying, holy shit, this thing seems like it's coming back, and then dying, not knowing after you're dead if all the horrors that you experience is going to come back or not. Newsflash, it's not, but still, it's never going to be as bad. This is my prediction. I hope I'm right. But imagine having to deal with that anxiety after seeing the worst of humanity and seeing some of it, just tiny bit of it coming back again, and so much so that you need guards. Anyways, let me read the summary. An 89-year-old Holocaust survivor in Italy has been assigned police guards for protection after receiving hundreds of threats on social media. Who the fuck sends threats to an 89-year-old woman? Holy shit. Do these people not think that, like, you know what? Do they not say, like, are we not the baddies? Like, when you are sending death threats to an 89-year-old woman, a Holocaust survivor, do you ever think, like, maybe we're the baddies in this scenario? Anyways, let me continue. Liliana, who was sent to the notorious Auschwitz death camp at 13. At 13! Wow, that's a horrific life. By the way, I said Auschwitz. This video is completely fucked. Thank you, YouTube. Our YouTube overlords are going to decide that this video is not worth anybody seeing ever at all. This is completely wrong for anybody to see. Thank you, YouTube. All right, so has been subjected. So, okay, let me read that again. Liliana has been subjected to a barrage of anti-Semitic, messages in recent days. It comes after Mr. Segre, I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Okay? She, an Italian life... Oh, senator. She's a senator, called for Parliament to establish a committee to combat hate. Okay, so again, if I say this is, I have to... It's weird that I have to explain this, but I'm going to explain it anyways, because some people are extremely dumb. I'm sorry. I'm going to say the reason why she's getting a lot of hate threats, death threats, or whatever threats she's getting, is because she's a senator and because she's called for Parliament to establish a committee to combat hate, okay? When I say that's the reason she's being targeted, I'm not saying that's okay, okay? I'm just giving you the explanation. Explaining something does not mean you're excusing something. It's weird that you have to say that, and it shows how sensitive this topic is. It shows that people that do not mean to be, do not want to be racist, do not have any racist agenda, are not anti-Semitic. The people that are trying to fight racism have turned the anti-racism battle into just virtue signaling and just finding offenders and creating hate crimes out of nothing and finding racists where racists do not exist. And now they're using Judaism as this front, so much so that just reporting the news and in support of somebody that has been unfairly attacked, I have to be so fucking careful talking about the Holocaust. This is what you have done. This is how people that are fighting racism have actually destroyed anti-racism activism, because you can't even talk about this shit anymore, okay? You have made talking about the Holocaust and Judaism and anti-Semitic hate crimes such a taboo that just mentioning these keywords is going to get your YouTube videos targeted, and even the slight wrong wording of something is going to get cut out of your video and is going to be used against you, or the wrong, unintentional phrasing or joke or anything. You can say this about other things, but you have made this whole, Jewish, anti-Semitic. This is the new front line. It used to be Islamophobia. Islamophobia was so overused as an accusation that is now has lost its sting. And it used to be racism. It used to be Islamophobia, accusations of misogyny. But now they don't work anymore because they were overused. And it's sad that they were overused, because even though Islamophobia is a bullshit term, anti-Muslim bigotry is a real thing. It's a real thing that needs to be addressed. But we can't address it anymore because nobody takes it seriously, because you overuse that accusation. Misogyny is still a real thing. People are not taking it seriously anymore because it was you over-accuse people. Same thing with racism. Same thing with many other things. Homophobia. But now, because those other things don't have a stinging power anymore, people are not sensitive about it anymore, because people feel, well, I guess everybody is a racist these days. Now they're going after transphobia accusations and anti-Semitic accusations. And now you're going to overuse those, because those still have a stinging power. And unfortunately, it's going to hurt the trans right activism. And it's going to make it easier for anti-Semites to be able to use their racism again, because now you're going to overuse that accusation, and it's hard for us to detect the real anti-Semitic racist people, right? Because everybody is anti-Semitic now, and you can't even report the fucking news. But by the way, before the people are like, oh, anti-Semitic, do you know what Semitic means? Oh, you think Semitic just means Jews? Arabs are also Semitic. Yes, we know Arabs are also Semites, okay? But people understand that when you mean anti-Semite these days, it just means anti-Jewish hatred. That's what it means now, okay? Yes, we know Arabs are Semite as well, but that's not how the word anti-Semitic is used, okay? People have an understanding that anti-Semitic means Jewish hatred, okay? Hatred against Jewish. That's just how the word is used. Everybody knows that. You're just trying to seem intellectual by just telling people like, hey, I know Semite, Arabs are Semite too. That's just you signaling to people like, hey, look at me, I'm smart, okay? So, yeah. Anyways, I didn't even finish the summary. The motion passed despite the lack of support by Italy's right-wing parties, okay, that hate By the way, I don't even know this committee to combat hate. A lot of people, as soon as they hear keywords like that, a lot of people on the right think like, oh yeah, social justice warriors, PC culture. We all know this could have been a good committee, okay? Don't just accuse a committee to combat. Yes, there's a lot of PC narratives, social justice warrior bullshit that goes under the umbrella of combating hate, okay? That does happen. But that doesn't mean that every committee to combat hate is bullshit, social justice warrior, PC culture. This might have been a good one. We don't know. It might have been another one of those PC bullshit things. It might have been a good one, okay? So don't just dismiss it just because it's just using the same terminology as some of these PC people. All right, the motion passed despite a lack of support by Italy's right-wing parties. The motion called for establishment of an extraordinary commission in Italy to combat all forms of racism, anti-Semitism, incitement. I always have a hard time saying that. That's why instead of saying anti-Semitism, I say anti-Semitic behavior. That's easier for me to say. I don't know why that is a tongue twister for me. Incitement to hatred and violence on ethnic and religious grounds. That's all fair. If that's actually what they're doing, and they're just not policing the way people speak, if they're actually policing actions rather than people just using the wrong phrasing or jokes or spicy memes and stuff, then I support that. If you're actually fighting violence and actions and hate crimes instead of just monitoring the way people are using social media, even if you're it's, to be fair, if you're using social media to target an 89-year-old woman and sending her death threats, that should be monitored. But if you're just not telling people that these jokes are not okay, or that if that meme is too spicy, then that's going too far. Let me see what the live chat is saying before I lose everything. Chris is saying the far right parties that didn't vote are National League Party led by Matteo Salvini, Forza Italia, of Italy are the two brothers. Okay, I don't know who these people are. So Chris is saying they're far right. The news summary is just saying they're right wing. Okay, I don't know who's right. Maybe Chris is right. But please, 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 please be careful not to use the word right wing and alt right interchangeably. Okay, the people that use the right wing and alt right interchangeably would never accept somebody using the word left and social justice warrior interchangeably, or left or PC culture interchangeably, or left or far left interchangeably. Okay, so just be careful. Maybe they are far right. Maybe Chris is right, but just be careful. Just because you hear right wing, I'm not right wing. I consider myself more left leaning, but be fair to a lot of right wing people. Not all right wing people are far right. Okay. And let me see what the top comment is. Okay, I think based on this person's name, which I cannot pronounce, I think they're from Italy. Oh yeah, they are from Italy. I was right. Top comment is saying, unfortunately, let me bring this here. Unfortunately, here in Italy, fascism and racism is spreading again a lot due to the negative influence of our far-right politicians and due to the general atmosphere in international politics. There is a strong need for profound change at world level and for a recovery of democratic and anti-fascist values. Yes, and you do that not by limiting speech, but instead by actively coming out with narratives and values that challenge those. Okay, you fight bad ideas with good ideas. You don't fight bad ideas by silencing bad ideas. You fight bad ideas with good ideas. Okay, and again, if far right ideas are on rise in Europe and on North America, I just want you to be careful to figure that out because of you looked at data, not because you looked at stories like this. Don't judge the fact that far-right narratives, and racism and anti-Semitic views are rising. Don't judge that based on seeing anecdotal stories like this. It's true that they're rising, but you have to figure out that it's rising because you actually looked at statistics and data. And again, don't trust every data. I've seen data the way ADL and Southern Poverty Law Center, they do not. Their data is not to be trusted. Okay, I've seen the way they collect data. There are more trustworthy sources that do suggest that right-wing narratives and racist, not right-wing. Oh my God, I use them interchangeably now. See, I did the same thing that I'm warning people of not doing. Alt-right narratives and racist, anti-Semitic views are growing. There's data to show that it's true, but do not judge it based on these stories. Try to figure out if your sources of data is also biased or not. It's usually, don't trust. Oh, here's a guide. If it's better if your anti-hate group or whatever charity institution is not the same institution that collects the data, right? Because if you're an organization that is meant to fight hate, and if you get donations based on fighting hate, then guess what? It's better for your own financial interests and for you to remain relevant, for hate to be more, for there to be more racists out there, for there to be more white supremacists, right? So I prefer to get my data from somewhere else, right? So if you're the ADL or if you're the Southern Poverty Law Center or any other anti-hate group, I'm not going to look at your data. I'm going to go look at maybe government data is usually better. Okay, European government data is usually better, right? Because they are less motivated to fudge the numbers in a way to show that there's more hate. Okay, if your business is to fight hate, you become more relevant when there's more hate. So there's more things that are pretty much not a hate crime that you're going to adjust the definition of what a hate crime is for you to cover those as hate crime as well, right? So I'm not going to trust your data, right? Again, I'm not saying hate crimes are not on the rise. They are. But again, I say that not because of this data that these groups show. Chris is saying, Chris, I already read. Let me see what the top comment. I already read the first top comment. Teresa is saying, very sad to see how people can go on to not love one another after all this. Oh, come on. Really? Okay, if anybody asks, like, why can't people just get along? Why can't we just love each other? Why can't we just hold each other's hand and sing kumbaya? Like, you have to really have a huge misunderstanding of human nature for you to think, like, why can't we just get along, okay? In fact, the more you understand human nature, the more I'm shocked of how how effective we have been at getting along, okay? In fact, that shows the power of civilization, the power of the systems that we have came up with, the power of society, the power of laws, the power of all the institutions that we have made up against our own nature to keep us in check, because we were not supposed to get along. We were supposed to get along maybe in our own tribe or something like that, okay? That's pretty much it. Even within our own tribe, if somebody misbehaved, they would have been dealt with, okay? But we were naturally, this is another example that everything that is natural is not good, so don't make the naturalistic fallacy. We were not supposed to get along, okay? So I'm not shocked by the fact that why we can't get along. I'm actually shocked and impressed by how much we have gotten along, even though we can still do a lot better. We can still go on and fight against our own nature and do a lot better than nature. Okay? Let me see. Yeah, so if your question is very sad to see how people can go on not love one another, I'm not shocked by that. I'm not surprised by that at all. Let me just tell you, we were, what used to be, what the norm was, that people my age, actually I was supposed to be slowly dying by now. But anyways, people a little bit younger than me, maybe a lot younger than me, were supposed to be in either, getting someone else's food out of the ground, or being in someone's army and going on and attacking another village, and as my reward, I would be able to rape every woman in the village that I could get my hands on before someone else did. That was my reward. And then kill everyone else, enslave the children, and take everyone's property. And that was my reward for a job well done. And that was the norm. That was obviously that's what you give. Like, how could you not let your soldiers do that? They're going to revolt if you don't let them do that. Entertainment used to be feeding people to lions. That was accepted as normal behavior. Okay, this is our species. Not that long ago saw this as a norm. So have some perspective. Shobham, if you're tagging Atheist Republic, but I don't see a question. I don't see a comment or a question. I just see a tag. All right, let me go to the next news. That went off a tangent, didn't it? Sorry about that. All right, news number 8. Assam, 4-year-old girl offered a sacrifice. What? All right, this is Shobham. Are you in the live chat? I need you for this one. Assam. Okay, so what's Assam? Assam is a city in India, apparently, or a state or a city. I think it's a city. Okay. So the story starts by like this. 4-year-old girl offered a sacrifice by tantric to trace lost mobile phone. Am I reading this right? Is this real news? Shobham, is this real news? Please tell me this is not real news. Shobham, please. Okay, so now, okay, let me read this again because I cannot believe this. 4-year-old girl offered a sacrifice by tantric to trace lost mobile phone. Okay, GV is saying Assam is a state. Okay. Assam is a state in northeast India. By the way, for the Indians that want to live in the comment section, oh, how come you don't know that Assam is a state in India? Oh, wow, you feel like you're so informed. Well, let me tell me this. Do you know the states in Iran? I'm from Iran. Do you know the states from my country? Well, or from Canada? Do you know the provinces? I'm also a Canadian. Do you know the provinces in Canada? Do you think everybody should know the states of your country? Where you do you know the states and provinces of every other country? No, so then go fuck yourself. All right, Shobham say tantrics are like magic men. It is real news. Okay, Shobham, does this tantric thing before people accuse me of being anti-Hindu bigot or something? Does this have anything to do with Hinduism? Right? I'm going to read the summary. You give me an explanation on whether or not this has anything to do with Hinduism. All right, so the summary of the news. Another incident from Assam has come to light where a 4-year-old girl was allegedly beheaded and offered as a sacrifice by a tantric, which means witch doctor, in Assam to trace a lost mobile phone. Are you fucking serious? The girl, like, wow. The girl Sunu Godba, who was missing since October 24, was allegedly tortured and beheaded by the witch doctor. The body of the girl was recovered on Monday afternoon from a forest near her home in Ratanpur Tea Estate in Chariadu district of Upper Assam. The gruesome act involved 4 people who, under the influence of a person who practiced black magic, committed such a crime. Holy shit. Shubham, where is your commentary? I need to know if this has anything to do... Okay, here, Shubham. Tantrics are often associated with Hinduism, and Hinduism has tantric practitioners, but not all tantrics are Hindu. Yeah, what my understanding was that tantrics are either more close to Buddhism or Hinduism. Here's an interesting thing, because a lot of Hindus, or so-called Hindu atheists, we still haven't decided if that's an accurate term or not, are going to say that this has nothing to do with Hinduism. Which, interestingly, are often, not always, often the same people that say Hinduism is just a made-up term that covers many, many things. many things that is practiced in India. It's not just one thing, there's many things. Any practice or ideology under India, they just grouped it together and they called it Hinduism. So, based on that, then this is Hinduism. It's an ideology practiced in India, right? So, which one is it? If we attack Hinduism, they just like they just try to dance around it. They're like, you cannot attack Hinduism because Hinduism is not one thing. But then when you target something and like, oh, this is Hinduism. Well, like, no, this is not Hinduism. But you just said Hinduism is not one thing. How could this be not Hinduism if Hinduism could be many things? So make up your fucking mind. Let me see what the top comments are. This poor girl. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's not the picture. But Deepayan is saying, on a different perspective, just think what materialism... Holy shit, is this what I think it is? Is this the most desperate... I haven't read the rest of the statement yet, but what I think I'm about to read is the most desperate act of whataboutism. Let's see if I'm right. And this guy is probably from India. His name suggests that he's from India, and he's trying to defend... Yep, definitely from India, and he's trying to defend his country. Let's see. Maybe I'm wrong. I will admit I'm wrong if I am wrong. Deepayan Das is saying, on a different perspective, just think what materialism has brought humanity to. A phone is more important than human life. Okay, no, I was wrong. I admitted that I was wrong, okay? A little bit right, a little bit wrong, okay? Because he didn't... it's still a little bit of whataboutism because he's trying to focus on materialism rather than the tantric practice in India, okay? But at the same time, he wasn't completely shifting away from this crime, right? He was not like, hey, don't look here, look at there, look at somewhere else. Like the most whataboutism is like that. So it's a pass. I thought it would be worse. I think it's fine. John is saying, but did they find the phone? Oh, really? Okay. Okay. Anyways, that's a dark joke I can't even get behind. It's more like okay, yeah. Anyways, again, if you see a news like this and you say like, what has the world come to? Again, you don't have a longer term horizon. The world has come to a place where this is a shocking, rare news. Okay, if you see a news like this and think like, wow, the world is, the world is a horrible place still, but is a less horrible place than it used to be. If you see a news like this and you think like, oh, what has the world come to? Then you have no understanding of history, because the world has come to a place where this is shocking news. It used to be a place that this was not shocking news, that this was common practice. Okay? So, and again, I'm not trying to make it seem like this is not a big deal because there's less of it happening. This is horrific. This should have been done and over with. This should have never happened in history, but it's shocking that it's still happening. It's disgusting. These people, oh my God. I mean, this is horrific, but saying the fact that this is happening less in history is not trying to make light of how horrific this is. It's so weird that these things need to be explained, because I promise you that people will think this. I promise you that if I say to somebody like, hey, good news, this human sacrifice is happening less than before, people think like, oh, so you think it's okay that this girl was sacrificed to find the phone? No, I didn't say that. I did not say that. I did not say that. Why did you assume that I said that? Like, how did you get that conclusion from what I just said? It's so bizarre that you have to explain that. Saying something is less bad does not mean that you're saying that it's still not bad. That is so obvious. Okay. Shubham is saying, look at my messages above. Okay. Shubham is saying, it could be based on some Hindu beliefs which people from that part follow. I can actually say that most Hindus don't really believe in human sacrifices anymore. Yes, Shubham, but what most Hindus believe in and what Hinduism is two separate things. The example I often give is most Christians don't think it's okay. Most Christians don't think it's okay for you to deny women the position of authority. Most Christians, if you ask Christians, hey, my Christian friend, do you think women should be allowed to teach? Do you think that's okay? I have not yet met a Christian that says, no, they should not be allowed to teach. Most of them are surprised that you're even asking that. Most of them are like, what the fuck? Of course women should be allowed to teach. What kind of a stupid question is that? But if you read the Bible, the New Testament, it says women shouldn't be allowed to teach. Okay? So what Christianity teaches and what Christians believe are not the same thing. Most Muslims don't think it's okay for you to beat your wife. The Quran clearly teaches you that you should be beating your wife if you fear disobedience after trying 2 other methods. Most Muslims don't think that's okay. They're trying to come up with excuses for that Quran verse. Okay, again, what Muslims believe and what Islam teaches are 2 separate things. Okay, so again, what Hinduism teaches, and Chopin is saying I agree with you. Okay. All right. Okay. Again, when I shit on Hinduism, I'm not shitting on Hindus. When I shit on Islam, I'm not shitting on Muslims. When I shit on Christianity, I'm not shitting on Christians. When I shit on Judaism, I'm not shitting on Jews. Oh my god, this video is done for. Anyways, let's go to number 9. What is this? Oh no, Indonesia again. Indonesia is on the news, and usually when Indonesia is on the news, it's not good. Not good. Especially if we're covering it. Hey, Indonesia, Malaysia, you guys, what are you doing? You guys were supposed to be going the other direction. You're going backwards. Let's see what the news is. Indonesian man who helps implement Sharia law for adultery flogged for adultery. Let me read that again. Indonesian man who helps implement Sharia law for adultery flogged for adultery. Okay, let's read the summary. Oh, this is going to be some dangerous. This is going to result into some bad comments from our own camp. I can see that coming. Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a major disagreement with some people from our own community over this just by reading the headline. But let's see what this news is about. The province of Aceh. By the way, I used to not know how to pronounce this, but now I remember it by just reminding that it sounds like sneezing. Okay, because this province in Indonesia gets so much coverage under Atheist Republic because this is the worst province in Indonesia. Even though all of Indonesia is now going under Sharia law, I'm hoping not. A lot of student protests are trying to stop it. But this province is absolutely stuck in barbaric ages. But let me continue. The province of Aceh in Indonesia practices Sharia law. No shit, they have been doing that for a long time. One of the groups that helped draft those laws and now oversees their implementation across the province is the Aceh Ulama Council, otherwise known as MPU. I know it doesn't seem like it should be MPU, but it is because it's the abbreviation under language. MPU, and okay, so this guy, Mukhlis bin Muhammad. See, you know your country is in trouble where you're not an Arabic country, and people are making decisions for your country with Arabic names. Mukhlis bin Muhammad is one of the MPU's members. I mean, the whole bin Muhammad means son of Muhammad in Arabic. Why are people called son of Muhammad in Arabic in Indonesia? Okay, so is one of the MPU's members. According to local news reports, which were picked up by global outlets, Mukhlis was caught with another woman, then punished with a public flogging that included 28 lashes with a cane. So this guy that came up with the laws of flogging people for adultery got caught for having sex with another woman, and now he's going to suffer the laws that he himself helped put in place. The couple were caught by officials in September, apparently in a car parked near a tourist beach. The caning happened on Thursday. Mr. Hosseini added that Mukhlis would be expelled from the MPU. The 46-year-old is also an Islamic religious leader. He is the first religious leader to be publicly caned in Aceh since Sharia law came into force in 2005. All right, this if you think this is good news, you're wrong for two reasons. Okay, before I even read the top comments, okay? For two reasons, this is horrific news, and if you're celebrating this, then you need to question your own priorities, okay? Reason number one, which is the main reason, you should not be celebrating people being tortured. Even people that condone torture, even people that condone barbaric practices, you should not be. The response should not be like, "Well, you deserve it because you did it yourself." Do not become a monster, with the excuse of fighting monsters. Don't make that. That's just the excuse, because that's what they did. You think they don't think that they're fighting monsters? Okay, they became monsters because they think like, well, this is. Yeah, we are doing this. Yes, it's horrific, but we're fighting a greater evil. That's what you need to do when you're fighting a greater evil. Most people do not become evil villains because they wanted to become evil villains. The path to becoming an evil person is by coming up with excuses for torture, for barbaric behavior, for killing people that you think deserve it. Okay? For torturing people, for humiliating people that you think that deserve it. Don't become like them. Okay? If they make you a little bit more like them, they're succeeding way more than passing on Sharia law. Okay? Don't become like them. Don't celebrate this. This guy did not deserve this. Nobody deserved this. Nobody deserves torture. Even people that condone torture, even people that have tortured. Yeah, I go the extreme. See, this is why people think I'm so hateful. But then when I go against ideologies, when I go against Islam and Christianity, Hinduism, Judaism, people think I'm extremely hateful because I'm very aggressive against ideologies. But when it comes to people, then people are like, oh, holy fuck, I thought you were aggressive. Because when it comes to people, I go so extremely the other way around that people think I'm too kind. I'm too passive. Okay? But nobody should be tortured. Even the worst people in the world shouldn't be tortured. I do not condone torture. I do not condone flagging. This is barbaric. It's inhumane. When the punishing people, even if we punish people in the justice system, it's not for the sake of revenge. It's not for the sake of satisfying our desire for revenge. It's for protecting other people. It's for protecting other people. That's why we usually put them in jail or put them in a place where they can't harm other people. Nobody deserves this. A mullah, an Islamic leader who has, I don't think so. Okay, again, take all the people that think I'm so hateful against Muslims. I'm telling you, a Muslim lawmaker that has passed on. Even if it was me, I hope I'm strong enough that if I was caught and I was tortured and then I was freed and I had the upper hand against somebody who tortured me, I hope I'm strong enough person not to go to that level of barbarity and still say I'm against torture. I'm not going to torture the people that maybe I'm weak. Maybe I would not. Maybe I would be too emotional to have a logical response to that. But I understand somebody that has experienced torture under the people like this. I know a lot of people in Iran that want to see blood. They want to split the blood of religious people. Many people in Iran. And maybe I'm weak enough that if I suffered under these people, I would want the same thing. But when you suffer like that, you become emotional. The problem, our justice system, our governments have to come up with laws and standards that are based on optimizing the society in a way that that works for everybody, that makes the society a better place, that does not promote torture, because once you give authority to a regime or to a government to torture, you don't know what you're opening. You do not know what you're allowing. You do not know the disease that you're allowing to rot your society. Okay? These Enlightenment values that are against torture, that are against killing, these are what makes countries great. They have proven to make countries great. So even if you have an emotional desire to see someone suffer, try to understand that this is not good for society. And it's not good for your own mental health either. It's not good for your own mental health for you to be somebody that would enjoy seeing someone else suffer. Okay? Even if you think it is somebody that deserves it. Do not become that person. Do not become that person. And again, to all the people that think I'm hateful towards Muslims, I'm letting you that this is seen as something extreme within my own community, to be against the torturing of somebody that has passed laws that promotes torture against other people. So, I don't know which one I am in. So Chopin is saying, it was really disturbing, the amount of people making fun of the person getting tortured. I get dark humor, but it was still disgusting. This is not dark humor. Dark humor is this is not dark humor. Chris is saying, is sometimes you need to embrace flipping the bird while smiling at the same time. In other words, being outspoken against some things while supporting the people those things affect. I don't know what you're getting at, Chris, but let me see what the top comments are. Thomas is saying projection and hypocrisy happen on all great religions. Actually, I forgot to tell you the second reason why this is a bad thing, and it's exactly the opposite of what Thomas is saying. This is actually fantastic PR for these Muslim committee or whatever they call themselves. What do they call themselves? The Ulama Council. Ulama means like religious scholars. Actually, is Ulama Council. This is fantastic PR for the right audience in Indonesia, because I don't know why Thomas is saying they're being hypocrites. They're not being hypocrites. They're being the exact opposite of hypocrites. They're like, yeah, we passed on the law, and we're going to be consistent, even if it's our own member. This is fantastic PR for them. A lot of religious Muslims in Indonesia are going to be like, wow, respect. They are not hypocrites. They're saying these laws are Islamic, and we will abide by it, even if it's our own members. So I don't know what Thomas is getting at. The top comment is saying, hypocrisy happens in all great religions, quote-unquote great religions. What are you talking about? This is an example of them not being hypocrites, of them being consistent. And another reason why you should not celebrate this is that this is fantastic PR. A secondary minor reason why you should not celebrate this, but this is fantastic PR for their group. Now, a lot of Muslims maybe some Muslims that thought that this is barbaric and these people are being too cruel, they might be like, well, I changed my mind. These people are they must really believe it, that this is good for their society if they do it to their own when they discover that some of them passed the law. Again, I'm not condoning it, but I'm just saying this is fantastic PR for them. Well, let me see what the other top comment is saying. Ross is saying, be careful what you wish for, thoughts and prayers. This is what I was thinking we're going to get, and somebody, he's have a laughing in tears emoji, which is enjoying the misery of somebody else. So don't be like Ross, be better than Ross. Let's go to the last news. Last news. Obama on call-out culture. That's not activism. All right, let's read the summary. Former President Barack Obama. It's so funny that it says former President Barack Obama. I mean, does somebody not know that? I mean, I'm glad that we're assuming that some people don't know that, but anyways. Former President Barack Obama made a rare foray into the cultural conversation, objecting to the prevalence of call-out culture and wokeness during an interview about youth activism at the Obama Foundation Summit. This idea of, his quote starts here. this idea of purity and you're never compromised and you're always politically woke and all that stuff, Mr. Obama said, you should get over that quickly. So let me just read out what he said again to make it clear. So this is what Obama said. He's called out culture and wokeness. Okay, so he's saying the idea of purity and you're never compromised and you're never always politically woke and all that stuff, you should get over that quickly. The world is messy. There are ambiguities. He continued. People who do really good stuff have flaws. People who are fighting, what? People who are fighting may love their kids and share certain things with you. Okay, so should we watch the video? Do you guys want to watch the video to see the full context? Because a lot of people are going to be like, out of context! So let's give them the video. Let me see. You guys can see the video or not? Wait, where is this? Let me see if I could show you the video. Let me show you the video. Hold on. Go here. One second. Oh, why is this not showing the full thing? Let me put this over here. I should have done this before, sorry. Okay. I'm pretty sure a lot of you are going to agree with this. So let me give you an alternative view on this to see if I could find, because I'm pretty sure I'm also going to agree with most of this. But for the sake of argument, let me see if I could find a way to disagree with us slightly. Let's see if that's possible. Okay? Because this is pretty refreshing to see somebody from the left be saying this. I know Obama has been saying that for a while, but this is the most outspoken, the most clear he has been for it. Let me know if you hear the audio. Hold on.
You know, this idea of purity and you're never compromised and you're always politically woke and all that stuff, you should get over that quickly. The world is messy. There are ambiguities. Yep. People who do really good stuff have flaws. People who you are fighting may love their kids and, you know, share certain things with you. And I think that one danger I see among young people, particularly on college campuses, Malia and I talk about this. Yara goes to school with my daughter. But I do get a sense sometimes now among certain young people, and this is accelerated by social media, there is this sense sometimes of the way of me making change is to be as judgmental as possible about other people. And that's enough. Like if I tweet or hashtag about how you didn't do something right or used the wrong verb, or then I can sit back and feel pretty good about myself because, man, you see how woke I was? I called you out. I'm going to get on TV, watch my show, watch Grownish. You know, that's not activism. That's not bringing about change. You know, if all you're doing is casting stones, you know, you're probably not going to get that far. That's easy to do.
Okay. Let's go back here. All right, so that seemed pretty good. It seems pretty good because we all are assuming what this is a response to. But if you get a more general look at what he's saying, I have some problems with it. Because many things do need to be called out, okay? The problem is not that people are being called out. The problem is the standards that we're using to call out people by. Because the standards, some of the things that are happening right these days, you know, the PC culture, the woke culture, they're just ridiculous standards. But some things need to be called out. homophobia, real homophobia needs to be called out. Real racism needs to be called out. Strikes with 90% civilian casualty needs to be called out, right? I hope you guys know what I'm referring to. Obama's drone strikes, right? Bad foreign policy in Syria and Iraq needs to be called out. I agree that just only calling out people is not enough. Doing something to replace it or to overcome it or to provide, like, just be like, oh, that's not the right way of doing feminism, or that's not women's rights activism. Well, okay, great. Do that if you're, and do real women's rights activism if you think that's not right. Like, don't just call things out. Also replace it with something, right? So do actual activism. So I agree with that. So the parts that I agree is that calling out by itself is not enough, but I'm hoping that we're not condemning all types of calling out. And I think there's two different levels of standards that we have. I think people's beliefs and people's actions. These two things should be different. There should be different levels of tolerance for it, right? So I have a higher level of tolerance for beliefs than for actions, right? So your beliefs have to be, and by tolerance I mean allowing it, not like I accept you with you. I agree with you, right? So even if I disagree with you, I mean, my tolerance for belief is unlimited, almost unlimited, I think, right? Because, and by tolerance I don't mean I agree with you, but I support your right to believe it and to say that you believe it and to promote what you believe, unless you're advocating directly for someone's killing, which is slowly moving to the action side, right? So, or you're scamming somebody, which is also slowly moving to the action side. So when it comes to belief, the standards for me when it comes to tolerating and allowing things are very low. When it comes to actions like drone strikes, like real hate crimes, not those fake, oh, you offended me, that's a hate crime bullshit. These things need to be called out. When you go from the realm of belief to the realms of actions, then shit needs to be called out, man. Shit needs to be called out. Okay? Just because some people have ridiculously high standards that, oh, you can't use this phrase like this, and if you use this word instead of that word, then you're a fucking Nazi or something. Just because some people have ridiculous standards, that doesn't mean that calling out people is not the right thing to do in certain circumstances. So, but if you, again, if he's only referring to this high standard, the woke culture, the PC culture, which is we recognize by their ridiculously high standards, not just high standards, useless standards, right? Even if it was high standards, but it was high standards in the right direction, I could maybe get behind that, even if it was good high standards, right? But useless high standards that as Obama himself pointed out, makes them take out their own leaders, because nobody could survive those standards. Then if he's only referring to that, I could get behind that. And again, I could get behind that even though I disagree with Obama. I could be like, yeah, Obama, you're right on this, even though I really, really disagree with a lot of your foreign policy. Okay? I don't have to agree with your foreign policy to agree with you here. I could be like, hey, Obama, I think your foreign policy was shit, but I agree with you here. I'll support this. Yeah, you're carrying out the woke culture. If you're only referring to the woke culture, if you're only referring to the PC police, then yeah, I completely agree with you. But if you are calling out in general, which would be kind of actually you're calling out, you're doing it yourself. You're calling out woke culture. So you cannot. Because I'm pretty sure Obama is, unlike Trump, he's very smart and he's very well spoken, right? And I'm pretty sure, based on how smart he is, I don't think he's calling out all forms of calling out. So I'm assuming that he's only referring to the woke culture. So based on that charitable assumption, which I think is pretty fair given how smart Obama is, I agree with Obama here. And given that he is not including other forms of calling out, justifiable forms of calling out, I like to call out Obama's drone strikes and his horrific foreign policy and everything else he did. Not everything else. He did many good things, okay? He did many good things, but when it comes to foreign policy, when it comes to Syria, again, a lot of people call out his foreign policy in Iraq. I think he did worse in Syria than he did in Iraq. Anyways, that's a topic for a different time. But he's very smart. He's very well spoken, and I'm hoping that in this scenario, he's not referring to all forms of calling out, and I call him out on his shitty foreign policy. And I know a lot of people in my audience disagree with me on that. And you can let me know why you disagree with me on the comment section. And let me know if you want to have more foreign policy discussions on a live stream or something like that. And again, if all you're doing, actually, I don't know, if all you're doing is calling out, people are like, whoa, that's not activism. Well, maybe you're not an activist. Maybe you don't pretend to be an activist and you want to call people out, right? I'm an activist. So I better be doing more than just calling people out, right? But if you're not an activist, if you have another job, maybe you want to call people out on their shitty behavior, and you're not an activist, so you're not doing anything else. You're doing your job or whatever. And if somebody says that, well, that's not activism, you might say like, yeah, well, I'm not an activist. That's fair. All right. Let me see what the top comment is. Top comment is Ashley saying, I love Obama, but he missed the mark here. Ooh, I think Ashley is part of the PC culture. Nikki is saying, hey, what if, this is the part that I agree with Obama. The things that they like Obama for, those are the parts I disagree with Obama. Nikki is saying, hey, what if we want all to become unaffiliated and unite? The people in power wouldn't have a chance. Just a thought. I'd be waiting for the rest of you when you're all ready. What do you mean? If you become unaffiliated and unite, when you unite, but you become affiliated with your new group. Now you have a new group that you're affiliated with. I don't understand what that was. Why was that even part of this comment under this news? Miles is saying, the problem with woke culture is that we are over here arguing amongst allies, and that right is lockstep with a wannabe dictator. Know the difference between an imperfect ally and an enemy. I agree with you, Miles, except one thing. The right has its own woke problem to deal with. All the people that think that this whole snowflake thing, this whole being sensitive about somebody calling you out or somebody offending you or somebody using the wrong terminology, it's just a left thing. They haven't spent enough time in right-wing circles, okay? Again, hashtag not all left, hashtag not all right, okay? Not all of the right is like this, not all of the left is like this. But the right also has its own problem, okay? The right-wing people are like, oh, anything trans-related, you bring it up, they think it's just tearing out the fabric of society, okay? Everything you say like, hey, I'm pro-LGBT. I'm like, oh, you're part of a cult, yo, you're the LGBT agenda. Like, they get offended. They get triggered like this. They get triggered like so easily. So it's just not, this is not just the left, being a snowflake is not just the left thing. It's also a right thing, okay? Anyways, that was, oh yeah, thank you, Camillus, for putting hashtag not all. That's exactly hashtag not all. Hashtag not all. Just assume. I should just wear something on my, forehead. Hashtag not all. So I don't have to mention that every fucking time. Anyways, love you all. I managed to do this by myself. Shopam didn't show up. Ali had an emergency, and Chris showed up. Thank you, Chris, for showing up. But his environment was pretty bad, so he had to let him go. But we tried. I tried to do it by myself. I hope I did a good job by myself. I hope you guys forgive other people not being here. Chopin is saying, not all is also annoying, kinda. Why do we need to mention it every time we say something? Oh, because people are stupid, and you have to tell them what you mean. You have to really spell it out for them. But it's okay. We forgive people's ignorance. We try. All right, love you guys. See you guys next week. Hopefully next week we'll have more people here. Let me know if I did a okay job reading the news. I think I'm getting better at reading the news. I know Ali does a better job than me. I know she does. She's amazing. But I think I'm getting a little bit better in emergency situations like this. Bridget saying great job. Karen is saying thanks, Armin, great job. Oh, thank you. Hey, Christy's here. I'm laying down my okay. You did a good job. Thank you, guys. I'm sorry, Armin. Thank you very much. You did awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Love you, and see you again next week.